Hello and welcome to today's Ask Barn2 Anything live Q&A. I'm Katie Keith, founder and CEO at Barn2 Plugins, and normally I do these live streams with our video producer, our YouTuber Sam, and he has his wife rather has just had their first child and he's on paternity leave. So we have another colleague, Amir, today.
Hi everyone, I'm Amir. I'm a plugin developer at Barn2 Plugins, and I'm replacing Sam in today's call. So today, Katie and me, we'll go through some of your questions that we have received, and we will demo some of our plugin features, and we will answer some of your questions. So we have already received some questions from you, and we would love to receive some more questions if you're watching this live. You can comment from any platform that you're watching, and we will answer your questions. And comment us where you're from and where are you watching this live stream from, and tell us your name and how have you met Barn2.
Yeah, and randomly we're both in Spain, aren't we? Which is actually a coincidence because we're a global company with people everywhere, but we're the two Spain ones.
Yes, exactly. We are both in Spain, but the company is fully remote.
Yeah. So let's start with company news then. So 2 days ago, we released a huge update of our Document Library Pro plugin, which we've been working on for many months. And so what we've done is we basically split it into two plans because we recognize that we have two different types of people that use Document Library Pro. We've got quite small websites that are using it just to share some resources online. And we also have quite large, more corporate sites that are using it. So we've created a basic plan for the essential features, and we've also created an advanced plan for the more corporate features. And that has some features that we haven't ever offered before in Document Library Pro, which I'm going to show to you. So I'll put on the screen the link to the launch post so you can read more about it in our blog. And I'm also going to show you the new features we've added to Document Library Pro Advanced. So in the past, if you wanted to create private areas of a document library, you had to buy it with our other plugin, Password Protected Categories, which was fine. It let you restrict access to categories in your document library, and it did the job. But we realized it wasn't ideal because some people want to do other things in terms of visibility. They might want to make their whole document library private, or they might want to make individual documents private rather than at the category level. And so we've added this new page to Document Library Advanced, where you can make your whole document library protected to password, just people with the password if they don't have an account. You can choose user roles or users. And another brand new feature that's never been possible is the user who created the document, which is really interesting because we have a front-end document upload form which people can use to add their own documents. So you can actually create like a client portal or something where each user only sees their own document which they submitted. So that's quite a nice way to use it. And you still get the category level protection. We've got a new login form that we've never had before. And you can control who can edit your documents, like which user role. So that's all brand new stuff. And if you're already using Document Library Pro, then we've automatically upgraded you to the advanced plan for free. So it doesn't matter what plan you were on before, whether you had password protected categories, we've upgraded you anyway. So that was a big update and also worth looking at. So the next piece of news is that a company called, how do you say it? Jovi, I think. I should have checked their pronunciation first.
It could be Jovi, yeah.
Is it Jovi or Jovi? It's a in-person payment solution that works with WooCommerce. Because normally, if you have a WooCommerce site and you want to take in-person payments like at a trade stall or in a shop or market or whatever, you need a whole separate system with separate payment gateways. Your data gets all messed up if it's not integrated. Whereas Jovi actually just extends your WooCommerce store into in-person POS system. And they've just this week integrated it with our WooCommerce Fast Cart plugin. And so that our plugin adds like a pop-up cart which can appear anywhere on your website, and that works with Jovi. And Jovi have told us that after we emailed our customers yesterday, people are already signing up to it. So it sounds like that is relevant to Fast Cart users. So hopefully that is useful.
Yes, and the next news that we have is that we have added a new discount code for Host Armada. I think it's an easy pronunciation, but I hope that I get it right. So Host Armada is a cloud storage that you can use for your WordPress websites. And in case you don't know about our customer discount center, we basically have a lot of discount codes for our customers that they can use to buy other WordPress themes or plugins. We also have some other services like hostings, and you can basically go to our customer discount centers and check these codes for yourself and even search for them. So what we have added to this is Host Armada, and you can save up to 75% on all of their shared hosting packages for annual, biannual, and triennial billing cycles. If you buy one of our products, a link to the discount center will be automatically sent to you.
Yeah. And the final piece of company news before we get into the Q&A is an upcoming event. So the first ever WordPress Day for e-commerce is taking place in Porto, Portugal on the 15th of November. Both Amir and I are going, and also our marketing specialist and one of our senior developers, Luigi. So there'll be 4 of us there. I will be doing a talk titled "What Top E-commerce Stores Get Right and How You Can Too." And I'll also be interviewing James Kemp, who's core product manager at WooCommerce, and he will be doing the keynote talk, which will be a Q&A. So I'll be asking him about the future of e-commerce. So if you're in Europe, at least, then that's worth going to. There are still tickets left. And if you are going, then feel free to contact us, and any of us or all of us would be very happy to meet up with you in person. Yeah, so let's get on to the Q&A section. So first of all, we have a couple of questions about Document Library Pro. So I'll show you the plugin in a bit more detail first before we start on the questions. So Document Library Pro, we touched on earlier, but I didn't actually show you what it looks like in the front end. So you can use it to create any type of document library or resource database, and it comes with several layouts. So here you can see a table of documents where you can filter documents by things like category or tag or file type. You can see all the information about each document. You can download it. You can open a preview in a preview window and do all sorts of things. You can download them all as a zip file. And it also supports all file types, files that are in your media library, files that are elsewhere, like Dropbox or Google Drive or somewhere. And you can even embed, as you can see here, things like audio and video. So you can do all sorts, any kind of resource. It also has a folder view where you can display categories as folders, a bit more like your kind of Windows Explorer or Finder on Mac view, which is more popular with the larger organizations I mentioned that like to have a more formal document library, whether that's public or an internal staff intranet. And then finally, we've got the more visual grid view. Anecdotally, I'd say that the smaller sites using Document Library Pro often like the grid view. I've seen a really nice art website that was sharing downloadable art resources and things like that using the grid, which is nice because it's just that bit more visual. Now, let's get into our first question about Document Library Pro.
Yeah, so the first question is from Darlene that is asking, is there a limit to the library size? I have over 500 PDF documents with some nearing 1 gigabyte in size. So I get that this might be concerning for some users, that they have a lot of files and some of them might be really heavy, about 1 gigabyte of size. So let me show you that what we have done about this in our plugin. So the first thing that you need to know is that when you create a table, document library table, the documents that you add, the files that you add to the documents are not loaded first. For example, if we see a document right now here, you can see that we have two buttons, one for previewing the file and one for downloading the file. But if you don't click on these buttons, then the files won't load, and this doesn't affect the speed of your site and the amount of requests that the page is sending. So if you go to the settings of the plugins, and on the advanced tab of the plugin, we have an option called lazy load that you can enable this option. And when you enable this option, the documents that you load on the page will load page by page. For example, if you're showing 10 documents on each page, then the request will be for only 10 documents. And this will speed up your website, and this will make it really faster. But if you disable this option, and if you have 500 documents in total, and if you're showing 10 documents on each page, then with each request, all of the 500 documents are going to load on your page. And this is not really recommended for the websites that have a lot of documents. But again, if you have files added to your documents, and if you don't click on the download or the preview button, the file won't download and it won't affect the speed of your website.
Yeah, and Darlene had a follow-up question, which was, can I customize the filters and modify the header columns? So that's the name of the top of each column. Instead of filtering by category, tag, and file type, I want to filter by year, site, and age. I also want a base stamps column. So yeah, all of that is possible. With the filter drop-downs, which appear above the document library, you can add any document category, you can add document tags, you can add built-in things like file type. So she mentioned she doesn't want file type. So what she needs to do is create a custom taxonomy for year, site, and age. And you can easily do that using any free plugin that supports custom taxonomies. We have our own called Easy Post Types and Fields, which works alongside Document Library Pro. So you create a custom taxonomy for year, site, and age. And once you've done that, you can add them as filters above the document library. And the second part of Darlene's question is about the columns, and I'll share my screen for that. So it sounds like she's looking at the demo and saying, can I change the columns in the demo? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so as you can see here, the columns are super flexible. You can add loads of, I don't know if you can see my drop down, but when I click on that, there's about 15 different types of column that I can add. It's actually way more than 15 because you can also add columns for any custom field or taxonomy. So technically it's unlimited, the variety of columns that you can add. And once you've got your columns, you can rename it to whatever you want as well. And so you can choose whether they're clickable and all sorts of things. So you can do everything that is described in Darlene's question. Yeah. So I think that's everything on Document Library Pro. So I see that we've had a question about WooCommerce product filters, so which I haven't actually read yet, but I'll go on to introduce that plugin next, and then we can look at the question. So I'm just going to go product filters and show you what the plugin does before we get to the question. So our filter plugin adds advanced filters to WooCommerce. WooCommerce itself does have filters built in. They're a lot more basic. So they are things like checkboxes and drop downs, not more visual options. They only appear in the sidebar, whereas with our plugin, you can see here that you can also add filters above your list of products. And also we can add much more visual things. You can see here we've got visual filters with images for gender, and also color swatches to show the different colors. We've got star ratings, price range sliders, in stock, on sale. So basically you can filter by any type of product data. Now let's get to the question, which is, how do I force a complete index after bulk importing product attributes via a custom script? The attributes work perfectly, but my index won't rebuild to include all 2,900 products. What's the proper way to trigger indexing for bulk imported attributes? Well, it should happen automatically, so that's concerning. There are certain triggers in WooCommerce product filters which will make the index happen. For example, when you save products, I think, then it should trigger an index. It certainly does when you make any changes to your product filters. So maybe the fact you've done it as a custom script is somehow bypassing that. So what I would recommend is what he's just told me he's tried. This sounds like it's going to go into a support ticket, but I'll just go to the question. Yes. Yeah, that's the wrong question. Sorry.
Yeah.
We've tried clicking save changes on a filter group multiple times, deactivated our plugin. Yeah, that should have triggered the index. Amir, you're more technical than me, but you don't do this particular plugin. So do you have anything to add, or shall I recommend he goes to the support team and then they will get the relevant developer involved?
Okay, so the reindexing of the filters happen after you make some changes in the filters. But the problem in this in their website is that they have bulk imported products. So this doesn't trigger some of the WooCommerce behaviors that we need for the reindexing. So when you bulk import the products, you're directly changing the database, and this doesn't trigger the reindexing. And what they need to do is to manually make some changes in the filters to enable this, or do it with the code. So about the code, we can actually help them with this to reindex the products with the code. But the easier way would be to just make some small changes in the filters and it will reindex. But also a custom script would be doable.
Didn't he do all that though already?
This custom script that they have?
Yeah, wouldn't that be the same thing?
Yeah, it would be the same thing, but this is actually saving the product, I think. But a custom script would also do the job, and also a manual change in the filters. But if they send us a ticket in the customer support center, then we can send them an actual working script that will reindex all the filters. Okay,
that sounds good. We've got some more live questions about Document Library Pro. So let's get to those now since we've covered that plugin. So Alan says, I have a problem when showing a document about a PDF file. I have a written discussion, but this always shows up with 2 columns sometimes. He's been using Document Library Pro for a few years, so he may not be using a proper template. He's not using Elementor for most page. I wonder if he meant I am now using Elementor for most page creation.
Yeah, I always make that type of mistake.
Yeah. So if you've updated to version 3.0, which was released on Tuesday, then you should be using the latest template and everything, unless you have overridden it or something. I'm just a bit confused as to what you're seeing in 2 columns. Yeah, he says he's using Elementor Pro. So you're using Elementor Pro to create the page that you have added the document library shortcode to, I am assuming. So what is showing up in 2 columns exactly? So is it the actual PDF, which was obviously not controlled by our plugin, or is it the table where the document library table is displaying or something like that? So I think we need some more information from Alan. We also have a comment from Andy, which I'm assuming he's seen on another platform, because I don't believe my husband is actually asking this question. So I think there's I suspect there's a comment that hasn't come through to us. So he says, if I was using Document Library Pro with password protected categories before the new update, can I delete protected categories after updating? Yes. So when you, as an existing user, update Document Library Pro to 3.0, it will automatically upgrade you to the advanced plan. And in doing that, it will take all of your password protected category settings. So that means you've restricted access to specific categories, and it will implement those exact same settings on your categories in Document Library Pro Advanced. So then once you've done that, you can delete password protected categories. You might then want to use some of the new features, such as the global control, for example, like making it restricted on a global level, or maybe restricting individual categories or something like that. Not category, individual documents, which is a new feature, but your category protection will copy over so you can delete protected categories. So Alan has replied, which is great timing. So he's saying that, so this is where he's got a 2-column layout that he doesn't want, which he used in a page designed using Elementor Pro. So the right-hand column has the short code, and the left-hand column has his written essay, which contains comments about the PDF document.
It's actually the document description. So I think he's talking about the single document page.
Oh, okay. You can't design that using Elementor though, because that's just a template in our plugin, isn't it?
I don't think that they can design that page, but by default, the single document page has 2 columns. The right column has the document details, and the left column has the short essay, as he says, about the document, the document details, the document content. So if this is the problem, then I think they should, if they don't want these 2 columns for their single document page, then yes. So the next question is, how do I change the default? So if they want to change the default, the easy way would be to override the single document template page that we have in the plugin. And they can easily edit that document, which is written in PHP and in code. And they can edit that. So if they send us a support ticket, we can help with that and easily change it to 1 column.
Yes, we just need to send a code snippet, really. Yeah, I'm just thinking about that today, actually. I think we should add that to the plugin, because we haven't even added the block editor to the single document page yet. So I think we should, and in doing that, we would be adding flexibility on the right-hand column. So, but for now, yeah, you need to get code snippet from support.
Yeah, we can add a template to the template section of the full site editor. So if they want to edit the template for the documents, then they can add a sidebar, add the content, and move the elements of the single document page.
Yeah, which is getting more complex though, because sometimes he wants 2 columns and sometimes 1. How far would we go with our support? Because that's a proper customization, isn't it? To add an option so that he can choose a template for some documents and not others.
Exactly. It really depends on what occasions he wants 2 and he wants 1. It might be really complicated and it might be really easy. So it really depends.
Yeah, reach out to support, but if it is quite bespoke and you want them options on the page to select a template or something like that, they may well refer you to our customization service, because that would be like a quotable thing, where it's just hiding the right-hand column we would do with our support that is included. So it depends on how complex it gets, as Amir says. Okay, so let's move on to the next plugin, which is WooCommerce Product Options. So WooCommerce Product Options is a very popular plugin, and it basically lets you add a wide range of really flexible, visually interactive options to your product pages. So I'll show you a couple of different ones because there's so much you can do with it. This is the plugin demo site, and I'm going to show you the pizza first. So you probably know, if you use WooCommerce, that the built-in options can only appear as drop-downs. So that's your product variations. They always appear as drop-downs. So here we've got pizza toppings, where you can choose radio buttons, which means you can see them all at once, which is nice. You can add a fee to them, which isn't how variations work. And you can also add extra toppings to, and you can add multiple ones. You can see this is totally different to a drop down, where you couldn't achieve this design your own pizza sort of interface just with drop downs. You need things like checkboxes, which are more flexible. So let's go to another one. Let's go to the necklace one. I quite like this one because it shows the conditional logic feature, which you can use to show and hide different options based on the user's selections. And you can be quite clever with this depending on how you want the logic to work. So you can add text fields, color swatches, select an image, view the price, and add it all to the cart. The really nice way to kind of configure customizable products. Just wondering whether to show the live preview yet. Let's do that, and then we've got some questions so we can stay on the live preview after that. So the live preview is more about visual things. So here we've got the live preview, and I never checked. I'm going to upload a picture of a Barn2 t-shirt. That will look good. And so you can upload an image, preview window opens, and then you can like size it and so on. So we've got a hoodie of a Barn2 t-shirt. Nobody would ever order that. And then you can add it to the cart. And we also support text previews, which we have a question about. So Amir will show you that in a minute. So that allows people to preview the products that they've uploaded custom text or images to.
Yeah, so the question about this is from Lebrun. I think I pronounced it right. She says, I'm looking for a WooCommerce add-on for a project that allows for the customer to add a text and switch the font family from a selection of 5 to 10 different fonts. Does your plugin allow these options? Well, as Katie mentioned about the live preview, we allow picture and text on our products as a preview option. So I'm just going to quickly show you how this works. As you can see, for this custom printed hoodie, we have two options that you can add to this t-shirt. One is upload an image, and the second one is add a custom text. So one good thing that you need to know is that when you buy the product options plugin, it also comes with the live preview plugin, and you can edit your images and add printable areas to your pictures. So we have already done that, and now we want to add this text. For example, I want to add this Barn2 to the t-shirt, and as soon as I add this text, I see this customized window that I can add this text in this area or in this area. And then, for example, here, I can write plugins. And, oops, I lost it. Okay. Now I can change the font size, I can customize it, I can change the color. And also from this dropdown, I can select the font that I want. So for example, I can change it to this font or like another one. But if you want to have 5 or 10 specific fonts, then this would be a customization. Our plugin at the moment doesn't allow specific fonts. We only allow the fonts that we have already in the plugin. So, but I guess that if you want different fonts, they are already included in the plugin that
new. We've added it now. So you can now add a Google Fonts API key. This is recent. And choose what fonts you want the user to be able to select from.
Yep, and so it's good. So they can add it to the plugin.
Okay, so I think that was the only question on product options, which is unusual because there's usually a few on that one. A couple of follow-up questions from Alan about this is about the 2-column layout on the single document page. So he thinks he has to use regular posts for one column and CSS code to take out extraneous footers, etc. I think it would be CSS to remove the right-hand column, wouldn't it? Like the whole right-hand column, and then the content goes on the left. Alan thinks that moving back and forth from one columns to 2 should not require customization. Yeah, at the moment, it's not a feature, and surprisingly few people have ever requested this. But like I said, I was thinking earlier about we should be adding the block editor to the single document page. So at that point, that might be time to make that a feature of the plugin so that you can, on a per document basis, customize exactly what you want to appear.
Yep, they can also do it with CSS, but if they want to move some of the content and show them on the left side and show all of them in one column and actually change the design, it would require customization, but if it's simply just deleting the right column, then yes, they can do it with CSS.
Okay, let's move on to WooCommerce bulk variations.
Okay, so I'm going to show a quick demo of the WooCommerce bulk variation plugin and show you what it does. So the WooCommerce bulk variation plugins allows you to add a variation table to your variable products. A limitation of WooCommerce is that when you have a variable product, you can only choose one variation at a time and then set the quantity for that variation and then add it to your cart. If you want several variations, then you need to refresh the page and add them multiple times to the cart, and this might not be really convenient for some users. In the bulk variation plugins, what we do is actually show a table of the variations. For example, in this product, we only have two variations, one for the size and one for the color. And if the user wants to add several variations at the same time to the cart, then all they need to do is to set the quantity for that product and then for that variation and then add it to the cart. We also allow the bulk variations to be enabled for the products that have one or two attributes or they have more attributes. For example, in this product that we have 4 attributes, then we can only show 2 attributes in the table. So we have this colors in the columns and we have the sizes in the rows. So what happens now is that we show the other attributes as dropdowns in each cell. So you can choose this style and the logo in each cell. So it will be easier to add variations to the cart when you have a lot of attributes and when you want to allow the users to add multiple variations to the cart.
So questions about this. So I've got a long question in 2 parts from Laura. So she says, we sell workwear and print or embroider the logos onto them. On my product page, I would like options for a color, which would be drop down or color swatches, printing, which would be checkboxes for various print positions, which add to the price, then a list of sizes with quantity box for each one. So to do that, you need to combine WooCommerce product options, which we just looked at, and WooCommerce bulk variations. And I will show you an example. Just check I've got the right one open. Yeah. So on this product, we're using WooCommerce bulk variations here for the bulk variations grid, as you can see. And that allows us to add the second bit of Laura's question, which is the list of sizes with a quantity box for each one. You don't have to have like 3 rows here, or you could just have 1 column or 1 row of sizes. So you don't have to have 2 dimensions here. You could just have a grid of sizes, but with the quantity box for each one like that. And then underneath, these options are added by WooCommerce product options, which was where we come to the other things that Laura said, which is selecting options for color. Now that's really interesting because she only wants people to be able to select the same color for all of the items, which is fine. If you want people to be able to select different colors for different items, you would add them as variations and use them in the bulk variations grid. But if she wants to select a single color option that will apply to all the selected quantities and sizes, then you would do that using WooCommerce product options, and then you would have color swatches here. So here we've got t-shirt front where upload your design and text. Instead of that, you could have color swatches, and you could also have the checkboxes for the various print positions that Laura mentioned, like chest across the front, sleeve, back, whatever. And again, that could add to the price. So like we saw for the pizza product a minute ago, each checkbox can have an extra cost associated with it, so that will add on to the price. So that's WooCommerce bold variations and product options. So let's move on to WooCommerce Product Tabs, which I have not pre-opened, which was silly of me. So I'll just do that now. Product Tabs. Right, here we go. So WooCommerce Product Tab lets you add extra tabs to your product pages, which can contain any information that you want. So I'll show you a few examples. Normally, WooCommerce comes with, I think, up to 3 tabs. One of them is description. One of them is additional variation, which appears automatically if you've added things that would appear there, such as weight, dimensions, or attributes. And also you get a reviews tab if reviews are enabled. So what we've done instead here is added a specifications tab where we've put a table of the specifications. We've put a downloads tab where you can see we've used Document Library Pro to list the downloadable documents associated with that product. We've got a videos tab. So as you can see, you can add all sorts of extra tabs to that product page. I'll just look for one more that shows something a bit different. So this handmade soap one, we've used it to add things like FAQ, ingredients, sustainability, our story, so all of the things. And description is one of the default tabs, but our plugin allows you to add an icon to it. So this is just the product description, but you can jazz it up with an icon.
Yeah, and now we have 2 questions from Johnny that are related together, related to each other. So the first one is that, will you add the block editor for tab content? And the second one is that, when will the plugin work with the new WooCommerce editor? So I'm not quite sure about what he means by WooCommerce editor, but if they mean the product editor that WooCommerce wanted to launch but it got canceled, then based on the official news that we have, the new product editor that WooCommerce wanted to release is canceled for now, and the project will not go on. What this was going to do was that it would enable the blocks in the single product page. So when you wanted to edit a product, you could actually edit the product content with the blocks. So now this is canceled, and for each individual product, you cannot edit the product content with blocks. So, and this includes product tabs as well. So this is currently not possible. And about the first part of the question is that, can we edit the tab contents with the blocks? I'm going to also share my screen again about this. Also, I need to mention about the full site editor and the WooCommerce templates. So currently, if you have a theme that is compatible with full site editor, then you can easily move the tabs in other places in the single product page. For example, right now we are using the 2025 theme, which is compatible with blocks. So I'm going to quickly show you how you can change the single product template in the full site editor and move the tabs elsewhere. So what you need to do is to go to the full site editor, and on the template section, you need to go to the WooCommerce section, and then from that section, select the single product template. So when you're selecting this template, you can see that there's a block for product tabs. I think it's called product details. Now, if you move this block in the single product page, then if you have a custom tab created with product tabs, then it will also be shown in the new place that you have this block. For example, I'm going to move this before the or after the add to cart, or here. And when I save this template, then I can go to my shop page and see a product, for example, this one. And then I can see that I have the tabs, and this is a custom tab that they have created with product tabs. And you can see that if you move the product details block, then the custom tabs also will be moved. So it's compatible with the full site editor, but not with the new product editor that is canceled. It's actually canceled. So, and about the block editor for the tabs content, currently what we do is that we can only edit the tab content with the classic editor. And this is because of the limitations that we have for the custom tab contents in the product. We allow the users to edit the tab content for each product. So if you go to edit a product and the tabs are enabled for that product, then you can edit the tab content individually for that product and you can overwrite it. So the main problem is that if we enable the block editor for the tab content, then it would be really hard to add the block editor to this editor. So currently, we are planning to see if it's possible to manage all the tabs from a single, from a global page. So we don't have this section here, but we might have some plans to enable the block editor for tabs and manage all the tabs from one place.
Okay, so the next plugin is WooCommerce Wholesale Pro. Before we get to that, I'll just say we've only got 2 more plugins to cover. So, and there's 107 people watching live, and most of you haven't added a comment yet. So if you've got any questions that you'd like us to cover before we finish, then start typing them now, because we'll be finishing relatively soon. And then I will move on to WooCommerce Wholesale Pro next. So this is quite a hard plugin to show you because by definition it is a wholesale store which is hidden from public view. So WooCommerce Wholesale Pro basically adds a hidden wholesale area to your website. You might have a public shop, that's fine, and you can have a wholesale area where you're selling wholesale products to those users who are logged in as a wholesale role. So I'll show you what a wholesale user sees. There's a registration and login page as well, but I'm already logged in. So I'm going to go straight to the wholesale store, which is hidden from public users. Here we're using it with our product table plugin because that's really good for wholesale users. Typically, a wholesale buyer already knows your products. They buy them regularly in order to resell them. So they don't want to browse your usual product catalog, which might have big images of each product and require you to go to the single product page to add to the cart and all of that. Instead, a product table makes it much easier because you can see all the product data in one place. You can choose your quantities, choose variations, add multiple products to the cart all at once. And so it's just a much faster way to buy. And a key thing with the Wholesale Pro, whether or not you're using it with product table, is the wholesale pricing. So here you can see that the retail price is $15 and that's crossed out, and we can see $9 alongside. So that is the wholesale price. You can have as many wholesale user roles as you want, each with different types of pricing and discounts. And you can also do other things per role, such as whether or not to charge them tax, which payment and shipping options they see. So it's a really good way to tailor your store for different groups of buyer.
Yep, and questions about the Wholesale Pro. We have one question. James is asking, is there a way to just show the discounted price and not the original? We have different price points for different groups and don't want to show the pricing as discounts. So by default, the WooCommerce Wholesale Pro shows the original price crossed out and then shows the wholesale price. We have settings for this, and you can disable this. Let me show you the settings. So this is the settings of the Wholesale Pro plugin. You can see that we have different settings. And one of the settings here is that you can show the wholesale price with original price crossed out, or you can just hide the original price and just show the wholesale price. So this is actually really easy in the plugin, and it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and that's WooCommerce Wholesale Pro. And then the final planned plugin, and we can still do live questions, is WooCommerce Discount Manager. So this, you're going to introduce this one, aren't you, Amir?
Yeah, so our WooCommerce Discount Manager plugin helps you to add way more powerful discounts to your website. Let me show you the demo. So as you can see, we have different types of discounts. So with WooCommerce itself, you only have simple discounts, and it might not add really it doesn't add a lot of flexibility to your website. But when you use WooCommerce Discount Manager, you have different types of discount. And as you can see, we have percentage discount, fixed price discount, total spend discount, and all sorts of discounts. And I'm going to show you one of them. And maybe we can also show how to create a discount in the admin. So for example, with this, it has a simple $5 discount. It is similar to the WooCommerce discount itself. But for this product that we have here, that you can add quantity-based discounts. So if you buy 3 t-shirts, this product has a more dynamic discount. So if we buy 3 of these products, then we would have a $10 discount. So when I add this to the cart, the price should be 60, but when we check it, we can see that we have a $10 discount. There's already some other product in the cart as well, but the total price would be 50. So basically you have a lot of discounts that you can add. I'm going to show you the list of the discounts that you can add to your plugin. So if you go to the discount section, and if you want to create a discount, you can see that we have all sorts of these discounts. And if you, on the demo that we have, we also have created a lot of discounts that you can check, but you can see the pricing tiers and all sorts of discounts that we have. You can select that on which products or categories the discounts will be shown. You can even exclude them, and you can even apply the discounts to different users or different roles. You can set the availability date for that discount, and you can even set the content location of the discount.
And we have one question about this plugin, which I have lost. Why have I lost the caption? I should put it back. So we have a question from Nana who says, does it support 2 + 1 free from different products of the same category? For example, buy 1 t-shirt, which is called BSB, 1 t-shirt Attractivo, get 1 t-shirt Levi's free. The free product shall be the cheapest. Yeah, you can do that, and I will show you how. So we're back into the list of all discounts that Amir just showed us, and I'm going to click Add New and go to Free Products. So on this one, t-shirts, we want to give away free products from selected categories. So I'm going to choose clothing because there probably isn't a t-shirt. Oh, there is a t-shirts category. That was not even planned. So I've chosen the t-shirt category, and you need to buy 3 products in order to qualify, and one of those will be free. And you want to apply it across multiple products. So if you wanted to say buy 2 Levi's t-shirts and get a 3rd Levi's t-shirt free, then you would have like for like only. But in Nana's case, we want any product selected above. So that's any product above the t-shirt category, you have to buy that combination. And actually, I think I've done it wrong. It's 2 paid products required because you pay for them, and then you get 1 free. And you can choose again who it applies to and everything. But yeah, those are the key options. And the free one will always be, sorry, the cheapest one, the lowest price of the 3 products will be the free one. So you don't need to select anything additional in order for the cheapest one to be that free product. It just happens automatically. So then what the customer needs to do is add 3 t-shirts to their cart. They can't just add 2 and have it magically added. Imagine it, you're like in the supermarket. If you want a buy 2 get 1 free deal, you have to put all 3 in your cart. So the customer needs to choose which 3 t-shirts they want, and then one of them will then be made free on the cart page.
Yeah, and
So,
I think we have a question from
yes.
Ash.
We have this is about WooCommerce restaurant ordering. So I will open that one up. That's called restaurant ordering, isn't it? So I'll show the plugin briefly, and then we'll answer Ash's question. Are we still on my screen? Yeah. So WooCommerce restaurant ordering adds basically a food order form to WooCommerce. It kind of converts your WooCommerce store into more of an Uber Eats type environment that your customers will feel familiar with when they're buying food for either delivery or collection. So you can have different tabs for the different categories of products, and it scrolls between them. You can select quantities and add them to your cart without having to visit. In fact, there aren't even separate product pages, because that's not how food ordering websites work. You just have one order form, descriptions and all that. And you can also have pop-ups about products where you can select variations, or in this case, you probably recognize this, we're using it with WooCommerce product options, where we're selling the extra pizza toppings for an extra fee. So that is the plugin. And now let's go to Ash's question, which is, do you integrate with Doken or any other multi-vendor plugins? We're looking for a food menu ordering plugin for our food marketplace. I need to pull up this page. I think the easiest way to answer this is probably to go through that knowledge base article. I'll just look for that. barn2.com/kb/multiple restaurants. So there's several ways that you can do this. So Ash has gone down the multi-vendor route, which is really popular for restaurants because you might have typically multiple locations. That's the reason why this is a big deal for this plugin. So one option in this article is to use WordPress multi-site, where you don't need a multi-vendor plugin at all. You just have a WordPress multi-site with a sub-site for each restaurant. And the benefit of that is it's just kind of simple and they're totally separate. But you can do it on one WordPress site and one admin area via a multi-vendor plugin. That's option 3 here. So I'll go to that. So it says you can use it with any multi-vendor plugin, and we recommend WooCommerce multi-vendor because we just think it's a good plugin and it works in a way that we can easily integrate with. So that's our recommendation, but you can use the other ones as well. And there's some advice on that page as well about how best to use it with a multi-vendor plugin.
Yeah.
And so we've got a follow-up comment from Meisner, who says, food marketplace is a fascinating concept. What's a food marketplace? Oh, Ian, you're missing out. So it's like Etsy, but food. So there's a really nice one in the UK. I know you're in Canada, so I have no idea what they've got, but they must have them. It's called Yumbles, and it's got really nice food by like local food crafty people that do like homemade brownies, and I just ordered from it last week. Actually, they're not paying me for this advert. Where I ordered a caramel shortbread that says happy birthday, and I sent it to my mum who's in England because I'm in Spain and won't be seeing her. So it's much more kind of artisan way of ordering food, and you place the order on the central website, but you receive it from the individual buyer. So it's like Etsy, but for food, basically, because that gets you more artisan products as well. So slightly off topic, but let's end with that.
Gonna do my Yumbles research and see if I can find the comparative experience over here.
Oh, good luck. Yeah, I do not know where to buy those sorts of things in Spain, and I have looked. At least we can have HelloFresh recipe boxes. But anyway, so I seem to have removed the closing section from our show notes. So we're working off script here. So I'll say thank you so much for watching. Our next one is Friday, the 21st of November, when we will be back to answer your questions again. So you can already register on our website. I'll just open up the events page now. So you can go to barn2.com/event and register for the next one. But I'm not actually suggesting that you wait a month for us to answer your questions. Contact support if you've got questions before that, of course. So yeah, come along next month.
And thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you in the next live stream.
Bye.
Bye.